Hey, hi. Welcome to K Talks Tech. Welcome to the video. If you've been here before, welcome back to K Talks Tech. Thank you for being here. So I got a lot of things I want to talk about today. I'm trying to do multiple videos, so I want to move a little more quickly. So let's go ahead and get that paperwork out of the way. Like, subscribe, notify, and we'll be seeing each other soon. So I am Kay. Let's talk tech. So what I want to talk about today is I've seen people asking, let me just adjust this a little bit because I feel like my chin is cut off. One day I'll adjust the camera before I start talking, but not today, obviously. So anyway, so I've seen people asking, is this still a good time to get into tech with everything that's going on, right? There's been a lot of layoffs. There's the fight for remote work that's going on with companies. You had that Tim Gurner guy saying there needs to be pain in the economy. Unemployment needs to be 40 to 50%. And then he realized people didn't like that and probably nobody will work for him and the only pain will be his. So then he apologized the next day. But we see you, Tim. We see you. We know you meant what you said. We know you said the quiet part out loud. And he said it's happening. But what is also happening is companies have projects to do and they can't get the talent they want. So here's the thing companies need to think about. You had a job that paid $80 an hour. You are now willing to only pay $40 an hour for that job. And you're actually asking for a higher level skill set, right? And you're waiting for people who are desperate to take that job. Okay, so let's say you win that battle. What do you think is going to happen next? That person is either going to have a second job and they're not going to care about not giving you 8 hours a day. That's already happening. Even if they do the work when it's outside of the time that they should be spending with you, they're still working two jobs. You know what happens when people work two jobs? They look for a way to only work one job. Okay? Also, some of that talent will not come back. You say, okay, you want me to do all this stuff for half of the price that I used to do it for. Guess what? I see another opportunity over there that pays just as well and I don't have to work that hard. Or it pays just as well and I enjoy that. I can open my own business and make more money than you want to pay me now. So some of the talent will leave the tech permanently. Okay. Some people say, you know what? Early retirement. You're never going to win that. People are not. This is not the feudal economy. This is not slavery. People don't have to work for you. People have free will. They can do work where they want or not. Okay? So you can't force people to work for you. This is the same mentality that happened in America after slavery. The black codes, right? What they did was, okay, you're free now, but I want you to continue to act like you're a slave. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these laws in place that will force you to work for me. It's the same mentality. We just happen to be the people that got the brunt in this country. They would do the same thing to other people, other places if they could, because they're evil. Okay? So, having said that, understand that, it is what it is. Greedy people making lots of money are greedy people making lots of money, and some of them are evil. And so that's what I saw in those statements. And I think there are some people, some CEOs that share that sentiment. But here's the thing. When you're trying to dig a hole for someone and you want to make it a really deep ditch, you're standing in a deep ditch. And maybe you won't be able to get out. So I get it why people are concerned about whether tech is still a good career. But what I say to you is yes, because the jobs do still pay well. Some of them are coming back because now people have things to do. They got projects they need to get done, and so their desire to make more money is stronger than their desire to punish people for trying to have happy lives, right? So some of the jobs are coming back. They need what they need, and I don't think that this will continue to last because it's just not viable. Once you push the talent out of the market, what are you going to do? You know, AI is not ready to take that over, and even if it was, you should be concerned about that. Um, so yes, it is still a good time to get into tech. Um, Actually, if you're entry level, it might be a better time because some of these job descriptions that are put out, these people know that they're never going to find that skill set at the level they're paying, because the level they're paying is an entry level price. But maybe they're willing to work with an entry level person who may not have all the skills but will come in at the rate they want. So it might actually be an opportunity. Um, I still think the way to go is to, as I explained in previous videos, get your training, get some sort of certification, and then start knocking on doors. And I did an in-depth video on how to knock on those doors. So yeah, I think that's what should happen. Now, what sort of job should you go after? Because while I do think tech is still a viable career right now in the market, there are some job categories that are more promising than others. So one of them is data. Data, any type of data. Any type of data job is always in demand because that's how people sell things. They look at the data, they see who's buying their products, they understand the motivation behind the product. They make a profile of all the customers that typically buy their products, and then once they know who you are, they kind of figure out what makes you tick and what types of things you would like, and then offer you more. You ever shop online and you look at something and then it says more like this? That's the whole thing. That's it right there, right? So now, what else is very popular? If I were an entry level person right now, I would go for Salesforce. Salesforce is hot, 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 hot. Now, what is Salesforce? Salesforce is a software vendor who has analyzed different industries and come up with the software that addresses the core of that industry. So if you are a sales organization, that was their first customized offering, sales, right? But when you sell things, sometimes you have to service them. So they have a service platform. They call them clouds, right? So they have Sales Cloud, Service Cloud. It's a basic software program that they have customized to different industries. So there's Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, Financial Services Cloud, Communities Cloud for nonprofit organizations. So the wonderful thing about Salesforce is you can learn Salesforce for free. Salesforce has online training modules, and if you go through and you read all the modules and you take all the little exams that they have, at the end of that you'll be ready to get certification. Now, certification is something you have to pay for. You have to pay to take the test. I don't know how much it is, but the basic test is Salesforce Administrator. So that's the first test you can take, right? And once you pass that, you can continue to grow and take other certifications, but that's the basic one. And you can get a job with that basic one, okay? So basically what you're doing is you're learning one of the Salesforce clouds inside out. You're understanding how it fits together, how you use it. You're going to be a super user. How you use it, how you configure it, and by how you configure it, don't let the word configure scare you. It's just if you want to change a feature, how you go about doing that. Okay? So, and if you're working in an organization with Salesforce, you're going to be the go-to guy, right? The go-to girl, where people are like, well, how do you do this? How do you do that? What does this mean? What does that mean? That it'll be your job to know that. So that job, $55 an hour. Once you get more experience, of course, listen, it depends on what part of the country you live in, but what I've seen out there is about $55 an hour for someone who's somewhat entry level, and you can grow from there. So the trick in tech is to get some experience. Okay, so how you're going to get Salesforce experience, I don't really know. You can you can set up your own, you will have your own Salesforce set up, so you will know how to do this stuff. But people want to hire people that have at least a little experience working for, but beyond training. So I think what you could do is volunteer. Put yourself on Fiverr, Upwork, whatever those gig job sites are, remote.co. And these are just sites I've seen out there. I don't really have any experience with them, so you'll have to look at them and see if you're comfortable. But put yourself out there. Maybe even Craigslist, I don't know. But find a way to get some experience using Salesforce in a business situation. So once you have that, if you can get at least 6 months of experience and your certification, you should be able to find a job. And that's a no coding job, unless you want to evolve to the level that you code within Salesforce, which you don't have to do. So yeah, and you can do a little with your Salesforce environment that you're going to have, because they give you that so you can do the training. Then you can show like some of the features that you come across in Salesforce. You can create those in your little environment, and then you'll be able to have something to demo to an employer to prove that you can do it. So those three things together, listen, it sounds like a lot, right? It is. It is. But that's with anything worthwhile. I mean, you have to do the training. You have to get the certification. You have to show that you know. And you have to get a little experience. So if you're making $15 an hour and you want to go to 55, okay, it's some work for that 40. It's going to be a little bit of work, but you can do it. You can do it. Here's the thing. It's a lot, but it's not hard. Okay? If you can use your cell phone, you can do Salesforce. Okay? And they have a very nice community of people that are willing to help you and support you, and that you can reach out to if you need help. So yeah, that's where I would go. Where else would I go? You can be a developer if you want to code. Developers are always in demand, right? You need to go out to the job boards and see which languages are in demand a lot. I see a lot of Python. What else do I see? It's a mixed bag. But I do see Python. So if I was going to be a developer, I would learn Python first. What else? On the development side, the user interface, user experience is always is always popular. I think from UI UX, the more popular thing is the design. So if you have some, let's say you have some graphic design in your background, or you're just, very creative, and you are interested in how humans interact with uh, applications, then that may be a path for you. Um, and that pays fairly well too. Um, so yeah, those are some places you can go, some things you can pursue if you're looking to get into tech. Those are the paths that I would recommend following at this time. But what I want you to remember about tech is you have to always evolve, right? So when you get into tech and you learn something, you're out there and you're doing something you get good at and you have some experience in it, challenge yourself. Something new comes up, check into it. Always, you know how with sales they say always be closing? I say always be adding to your marketability, okay? Always make yourself more marketable. So if there's something that comes up, hop on it, learn it, make yourself more marketable. Because the more things you know, the more ability you have to, the more freedom you have within the industry. So in my career, I was a developer, okay? And when new technologies came out and my boss wanted to hold the ability to take those classes like a carrot in front of a horse, I said, you don't control my career. And I went out and learned it on my own. I paid whatever I had to pay to take the class. I paid for it myself. And once I have that knowledge, the one thing you can never take from me is knowledge. You can't take that. There's nothing you can do with that. You can be angry about it if you want to. You can dislike that this brown skinned woman has the audacity to not do as massa would like and take control of her own career. I did exactly that. And so when I was a developer and the development team lead for quite some time, and I got laid off after 9/11. I reinvented myself back as a developer. I relocated to a different area where there were jobs, and I started working there. And people were trying to tell me, "Oh, you haven't worked in a year. Oh, these lower level jobs are good for you." But there was one job that had a test that came with it, an assessment of your skill set, and I knocked it out the box. The same guy who was telling me, you're washed up, came back and said, you're a rock star. You see how they are? I said, I know who I am. That was just, now you know too. Oh, they hate it when you're confident. You're supposed to be meek and, so forth. Okay. I didn't actually say that to him, but I did. I think I did say, yeah, I know. I tried to tell you. That's probably what I said, knowing me. So, I kept going after roles and getting put in the team lead role, and I decided that I started seeing this other new job called business analyst, business systems analyst, technical business analyst. That was everything I was doing except coding. I was like, and it pays more. So I pivoted to that. And once again, they tried to tell me, nah, you couldn't do that. You couldn't do that. I rewrote my resume and I did that. And I've done that for now 25 years, and I picked up some other skills along the way. I leveraged my team leadership. So if you have team leadership skills, you have leadership skills. And so there's always going to be someone who wants to use them. So, and that's fine. But now I took it and leveraged it into a PMP, which is a fairly, respected certification for project managers, right? So when you are coordinating and leading efforts That is project management. You don't have to have done every single thing in project management, but I think I've done most of them. So, yeah, I keep that up to date. And then when new ways of working in tech came out, this agile thing came out, this agile methodology. So I learned that and I got a certification to go with it. So you have to keep adding. You have to keep adding. And now I've done a couple of other things, and I'm thinking about whether or not, well, I'm not even thinking about it. I know that I am. I just have to schedule it. I've done some other things in tech, and I'm going to get certified in that too. So then I can work in 5 different roles. So now because people want to pigeonhole you, right? So I can be a business analyst, a project manager, a product owner, a product manager, or a scrum master. Now, my skill sets, my skills are not, my skills in some of those are stronger than others because I've done them for longer. And there's a couple of those that I wouldn't want to do full time. Like, I don't really want to be a full time project manager, but if I'm a business analyst who also does project management, I'm okay with that. I'm really kind of at the beginning of my product manager journey, and now I'm starting to rethink that because I have other things I want to do. So I don't know, but my point is that I'm sharing this with you because I want you to think about your career that way. Don't think about it as, okay, I learned this one thing and I'm going to stay in this forever. If that's how you feel, then tech is not for you, because tech is always moving and changing, and you'll find yourself squeezed out in the market. There are some very old technologies that are not used that much anymore, but they are still used. And what's crazy to me is there are not that many people around that still know those technologies. Yet the companies pay very low. You should pay a premium. You pay a premium for those because the people who know them don't want to do them because that stops them from working after that. So let's say you have a 6-month project with some very old technology. When you work in an older technology, it's almost like you become radioactive for the next thing, unless you were doing the older technology along with some newer stuff. And it's really kind of silly, but things work the way they work, right? So yes, it is still a good time to get into tech. I would suggest that if you don't want to code, you look into Salesforce. Oh, besides Salesforce, other thing that's popular, Microsoft Dynamics. Okay, so that's another software program. I'm not really familiar with it. I know Salesforce, but I'm seeing a lot more Microsoft Dynamics, and I know that they're a competitor to Salesforce. So you don't want to code, you can look into one of those two. If you don't mind coding a little bit, data is a way to go, and there are a whole slew of data jobs. I'll put the link in the description box where you can go to my website and look at what job titles are in data. And coding. So just look at the job boards and see what coding jobs there are. So I hope that's been helpful. I hope that's been informative. But I'm giving you something. I'd like for you to give me something. And what I would like from you is likes. Likes, likes, likes. Likes. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. And I'll see you next time when we once again talk tech.